was a crisp December evening in Tampa, Florida. The air carried the scent of pine and cinnamon as families gathered at the local Christmas tree lot to select their perfect tree. Children laughed, lights twinkled, and the spirit of the season seemed to embrace everyone. Well, almost everyone. Standing off to the side of the bustling lot was a young boy, no older than 9 or 10. He was bundled up in an oversized jacket that looked like it belonged to an adult, the sleeves hanging past his small hands. His face was streaked with tears, his shoulders trembling as he tried to stifle sobs. Most people hurried past, too busy with their own festive plans to notice. But not everyone overlooked him. John Cena, the larger-than-life WWE superstar and actor, was at the tree lot that evening with his niece. Dressed casually in a hoodie and jeans, he wasn't there for fanfare or autographs. He had planned for a simple night with family, choosing a tree to decorate and maybe grabbing some hot cocoa afterward. But as he walked between the rows of evergreens, he spotted the boy. At first, John thought the child might be lost. He scanned the area for any adults who might be with him, but saw no one nearby. Something about the boy's quiet tears tugged at John's heart. Without hesitation, he walked over and crouched down to the boy's level, his voice gentle and warm. "Hey, buddy," John said. "Are you okay? You seem upset." The boy sniffled and looked up at the towering figure before him. His wide eyes widened even more when he realized who was speaking to him. "You're John Cena," he whispered, his voice barely audible. John smiled. "That's me. But tonight I'm just a guy picking out a Christmas tree. What's your name?" "Elliot," the boy replied, his voice shaky. "Well, Elliot," John said, sitting down cross-legged on the cold ground so they were eye to eye. "What's got you so sad? Christmas tree lots are supposed to be fun places." Elliot hesitated, wiping his nose on his sleeve. Then he nodded. After a long pause, he finally said, "My mom and I came here to get a tree, but we can't afford one this year. She told me to stay here while she talks to the man in charge, but I know we're going home without a tree." Fresh tears welled up in his eyes as he added, "It's just been a really hard year." John's chest tightened at the boy's words. He could see the sadness etched into Elliot's young face, a kind of weight no child should have to carry. John glanced over and saw a woman, likely Elliot's mother, standing near the payment counter. Her shoulders slumped as she spoke with the lot's owner. She looked tired, worn down by life in a way that made John's heart ache. He turned back to Elliot and said softly, "You know what? Why don't you come with me for a second? Let's see if we can find the perfect tree." Elliot blinked in confusion. "But we can't." John held up a hand, cutting him off with a wink. "Leave it to me. Trust me, okay?" Hesitant but hopeful, Elliot nodded and followed John through the rows of trees. He started and followed John as he started hoping. It didn't take long before they found a beautiful Douglas fir, full and lush, with a perfect symmetry that seemed straight out of a Christmas movie. Elliot's eyes lit up for the first time that evening as he pointed to it. "That one," he said with a small smile. "Good choice," John replied. "Wait here for a second." John waved over an employee, whispered something to him, and handed him a credit card. "If you need money, let me know." A few moments later, the tree was paid for, bundled up, and ready to go. John then walked over to Elliot's mother, who was still speaking with the lot owner. She looked startled as John approached. "Hi," John said, extending a hand. "I'm John. I was just talking to your son, Elliot. I hope you don't mind, but I took the liberty of picking out a tree for you." The woman's eyes widened in surprise, and for a moment she seemed too stunned to speak. "Oh no, we can't accept that," she said quickly, her cheeks flushing with embarrassment. John shook his head firmly but kindly. "It's already done, and trust me, it's my pleasure. Christmas is about giving, right? Besides, Elliot helped me pick it out. He's got great taste." Tears filled the woman's eyes as she looked at her son, who was now beaming with excitement. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You have no idea what this means to us." John placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Merry Christmas," he said simply. Before leaving, John made sure the tree was securely tied to the family's car, and even slipped a small envelope into the mother's hand. Inside was enough money to cover gifts, a holiday meal, and a little extra. He didn't want recognition or thanks. He just wanted to make sure Elliot and his mom could experience the joy of the season. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's totally free and helps out a ton. Just a click and you're in. As John walked back to his own car, his niece by his side, he glanced back and saw Elliot hugging his mom tightly, the two of them standing beside their beautiful tree. The sight filled him with a warmth that no accolade or championship belt ever could. That night, as Elliot's family decorated their new tree, the boy couldn't stop talking about how John Cena had come to their rescue. For years to come, the story would be retold, as a reminder of the kindness of a stranger, a reminder that, even in the hardest times, A little compassion can create a Christmas miracle. This episode is sponsored by POS Solutions, the optimism-focused cryptocurrency exchange on Midas hard drive for the rest of my life. The story didn't end there. What John didn't know was that his simple act of kindness had a ripple effect, touching the lives of many others in the process. Elliot's mother, inspired by the generosity they had received, decided to give back in her own way. She baked dozens of cookies and delivered them to the local fire station and hospital staff on Christmas Eve. Her small gesture of gratitude was met with smiles and heartfelt thanks, lifting the spirits of those working through the holiday. Meanwhile, Elliot couldn't stop telling everyone about his encounter with John Cena. His teachers, classmates, and even the neighborhood grocer heard the tale. The story spread quickly, and before long, it caught the attention of a local news station. A reporter reached out to the family, asking if they'd be willing to share their experience on air. Though hesitant at first, Elliot's mother agreed, hoping the story might inspire others to be kind. The segment aired on Christmas morning, showcasing footage of Elliot excitedly pointing out the tree they had chosen, and his mother recounting the moment John handed her the envelope. The story struck a chord with viewers, many of whom were moved to perform their own acts of kindness. Calls flooded the station with people offering donations to families in need, volunteering at shelters, and organizing food drives. One person's generosity had ignited a chain reaction. For John Cena, the days following Christmas were busy as usual. He returned to his demanding schedule of filming and wrestling appearances, but the memory of that night at the tree lot stayed with him. He hadn't anticipated the story going public, let alone becoming a source of inspiration for so many. When he learned about the ripple effect his actions had caused, he was both humbled and amazed. A few weeks later, John received a letter in the mail. It was from Elliot, written in a child's uneven handwriting. The letter read, "Dear Mr. Cena, thank you for the tree and for helping my mom. Christmas was the best it's been in a long time. I've decided that when I grow up, I want to be like you, not just because you're a wrestler, but because you help people. My mom says kindness is the best gift you can give. And now, I know she's right. Thank you for teaching me that. You're my hero. Your father," I also doubled as John read the letter twice, his throat tightening with emotion. He carefully folded it and placed it in a drawer, where he kept other mementos that meant the world to him. It wasn't a championship belt or a movie script, but to John, it was just as valuable. A reminder of the power of simple, human connection. From that day forward, John made it a point to incorporate small acts of kindness into his daily life. Whether it was signing an autograph for a fan who couldn't afford tickets to a show, donating to local charities, or just offering a kind word to someone who seemed down, he carried the spirit of that Christmas night with him everywhere he went. Elliot and his mother continued to pay it forward in their community. Over the years, they organized coat drives, sponsored holiday meals for struggling families, and even set up a scholarship fund for local students. They were the Spartans. By being on the forces, they fought with celibacy, Satanism, and the temptation to punish sinners. Each time, they told the story of how a stranger's kindness had inspired them to give back. In time, Elliot grew up to be a young man with a big heart and a determination to make a difference. He followed in John's footsteps, not as a wrestler, but as someone who used his platform